A truck driver has been critically injured in a collision on Highway 401 in Bowmanville Thursday morning, Ontario Provincial Police, OPP, say. The collision occurred in the westbound lanes of the highway at Liberty Street just before 9:30 a.m. OPP Sgt. Kerry Schmidt said 2 passenger vehicles were entering the highway when one got hung up on a snowbank, lost control, and went sideways across the ramp. The other driver then went around that vehicle and caused a tractor-trailer on the westbound lanes to lose control, Schmidt said. The tractor-trailer ended up on the right shoulder into the guardrail and against an overhead sign base, he said, adding the driver got trapped as a result. He was later transported to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. All westbound lanes were closed following the crash. Just before 3 p.m., police said they reopened one lane. It is unclear when the highway will fully reopen. The collision occurred after a major winter storm passed through southern Ontario, dumping between 15 and 26 centimeters.
Single vehicle collision, Highway
Schmidt said that the OPP investigated more than 100 crashes and 125 incidents involving vehicles stuck in the snow since 6 p.m. Wednesday.
With some snow and slush.
A bus carrying a Canadian swim team was involved in a collision on Thursday on a snowy highway in Canada, with several individuals being injured and transported to a hospital. Swimmers from Club Aquatique Regional Abitibi-Témiscamingue, Kerry, team in Val-d'Or, Quebec were traveling to the Quebec Junior Cup in Blainville, Quebec when their bus collided with a heavy truck on Highway 117 around 3:45 when the driver of the bus reportedly lost control. A local health agency reports that at least 10 minors between the ages of 11 and 17 were being cared for at the Mont-Laurier Hospital on Thursday evening. A coach was seriously injured, according to Francis Menard, director of the Quebec Swimming Federation. Some members of the team were transferred approximately 240 kilometers, 150 miles, to Montreal for further care. Our thoughts are with all those affected by this incident, the Federation said. We are aware that this situation can emotionally impact our athletes and coaches, especially during this competition time. The club posted a message on Friday morning saying that the remaining team members will be swimming in honor of their injured teammates. Francis Menard, director of a provincial swimming association, Fédération de Natation du Québec, said it was the Club Aquatique Regional Abitibi-Témiscamingue, Kerry, team from Val-d'Or, Quebec, that was involved in the crash. Our thoughts are with all those affected by this incident, the association wrote on Facebook. We are aware that this situation can affect our athletes and coaches emotionally, particularly during this competition period. A major winter storm disrupted travel plans, closed schools and shuttered city services across Ontario, Quebec, and the Atlantic provinces Thursday, as communities dug out from upwards of 20 centimeters of snow, with blustery winds and freezing rain forecast to move east. Toronto's Pearson International Airport, where several flights were delayed or cancelled, had seen about 26 centimeters of snowfall by the morning, said Stephen Flisfeeder, a warning preparedness meteorologist with Environment Canada. It has definitely been the biggest snowfall of the year, so far, for many parts of the Greater Toronto Area, Flisfeeder said. The storm wreaked havoc on the morning commute in Canada's most populous city, putting transit stops out of service and prompting widespread delays. Toronto's transit agency said more than 50 stops were out of service due to weather Thursday morning. GO Transit was running a modified schedule, with several cancellations affecting its bus and train network. In Hamilton, the city said all offices and facilities were closed on Thursday. Recreation centers, community halls, and senior centers were also closed until 4 p.m., at which point programs were expected to resume.
Biggest winter storm, snowstorm.
Schools across the Greater Toronto Area and Hamilton were closed, as were others in Ontario. In Ottawa, schools were open, but buses were cancelled, the local public and Catholic school board said. As the storm started to let up in Toronto on Thursday morning, it advanced further into Quebec and the Atlantic provinces. In Quebec, where Environment Canada says between 25 and 40 centimeters of snow could fall before the end of the day, many school boards had announced closures even before the storm began. Snow began falling overnight in Montreal and was expected to continue until midday and gradually ease. Flights were canceled and delayed at the airports in Montreal and Quebec City on Thursday, and the province's transport agency warned of dangerous road conditions, calling on motorists to avoid non-essential travel.
Snow for the next 3 or 4 days.
But some were taking the wallop in stride. Barbara and Jeffrey Wunderlich of Chesterton, Indiana, no strangers to snow in their hometown about an hour's drive southeast of Chicago, drove to Montreal to catch the Four Nations face-off hockey tournament, but would be leaving the car parked on Thursday. "We're just gonna slide around on our feet," Barbara said. "We're used to snow and wind, but this is beautiful and it's so clean," she added. "All the people are kind and have smiles. That means the world to us." Maggie Love and Kindon Zettel of London, Ontario, were also in town for the hockey tournament and will be sneaking in a bit of skiing in the eastern townships. "This is awesome," said Love in snow-swept Old Montreal. "We also ski, so this is great for that." Over in Atlantic Canada, all schools were closed Thursday in New Brunswick, where heavy snow was expected in central and northern parts of the province. In southern New Brunswick, the forecast was calling for less snow topped by an ugly mix of ice pellets and freezing rain. Schools across Prince Edward Island were closed as the forecast called for 15 to 25 centimeters of snow on the west side of the province, with ice pellets and freezing rain expected to coat eastern and central areas by Thursday evening.
Wonderful.
In Nova Scotia, schools were either closed or scheduled early dismissals as the storm advanced, with the forecast calling for up to 4 hours of freezing rain on the western side of the province, including Halifax. Environment Canada warned of poor driving conditions and possible power outages later in the day. As the east side of mainland Nova Scotia was bracing for blustery winds and about 10 centimeters of snow, Cape Breton was expected to get between 15 and 30 centimeters, with more expected Friday. The storm was not expected to reach Newfoundland until Thursday night, churning out gusts reaching up to 100 kilometers per hour along the island's south coast, and up to 150 kilometers per hour along the notorious section of the west coast known as Wreck House. Between 10 and 20 centimeters of snow was in the forecast for southern, central, and northern parts of Newfoundland for Thursday night and into Friday. Eastern areas of the province can expect less snow but poor visibility with winds gusting between 70 and 80 kilometers per hour. Orillia is on the icy verge of breaking historic winter snowfall records as heavy snow continues to blanket the region. In the past 24 hours, the city received between 20 and 25 centimeters of fresh snowfall, according to amateur weather watcher David Brain.
Oh yeah. See how high?
The relentless fury of winter has caused significant disruptions, with all Simcoe County school buses canceled today. Both school boards also took the unusual step of closing all schools today. Brain predicts another round of cancellations tomorrow, as an additional 20 to 40 centimeters of snow is expected to fall overnight into Friday afternoon. Orillia has already recorded 118.4 centimeters of snow in February, rapidly approaching the long-standing February record of 130.8 centimeters, which was set in 1889. Orillia is also approaching an all-time monthly snowfall milestone. The record for the snowiest winter month stands at 196.9 centimeters, set in December 1878. Meanwhile, the all-time seasonal snowfall record of 477.1 centimeters from the winter of 1995-96 is also within reach. As of today, Orillia has accumulated 398.4 centimeters for the season. Brain predicts that if the snowfall trend continues through April, the city could surpass 500 centimeters, setting a new record. With more snow in the forecast, residents are bracing for what could be a winter for the history books. Plows are working overtime to clear roads while residents are digging out after a winter storm blasted the region overnight on Thursday, and it's not over yet. Environment Canada had warned the intense wintry weather would hit, and it did not disappoint. In true snow day fashion, parents were notified all schools had shuttered for the day from York Region to Muskoka, a rare event, because despite the significant number of bus cancellations this year, schools have remained open to learning. The school closures extend to childcare centers, education centers, college campuses, and university as well. Georgian College said that due to the poor road conditions, the downtown Barrie, Muskoka, Orangeville, Orillia, and South Georgian Bay campuses would be closed. Additionally, the Career and Employment Community Services in Orangeville and Barrie were also closed to in-person services. The college said clients could access services remotely. In Orillia, Lakehead University canceled all in-person classes on Thursday, noting all online learning would go ahead as scheduled. The city of Barrie canceled all programming at its recreational centers, including Allendale Recreation Center, East Bayfield Community Center, Peggy Hill Teen Community Center, and Parkview Community Center. The cancellations include all registered and drop-in programs, including the fitness centers, gym, arenas, and pools. Our priorities are safety and communication. Sometimes unexpected events necessitate that a recreation program or service must be moved, postponed, or canceled outright, the city stated on Thursday. The road conditions forced Ramara Public Library to close and cancel all scheduled programs for Thursday, while opening hours have been delayed at Innisfil's Idealab and Library. The branch plans to open at noon. The township of Tiny advised residents services could be limited due to the weather, and Clearview closed its administration center for the day, which could be the case for many municipalities. Residents are advised to check ahead before venturing out because the closures are far-reaching. In Muskoka, crews are working to clear the snow accumulation from Lake Muskoka ahead of the North American Cup Pond Hockey Tournament founded by Rob Carlton meant to kick off next week. Worst ice conditions we have seen in 19 years due to the amount of snow that has fallen on the bay this winter, which has created 2 feet of slush under it and on top of the ice, stated Rob Carlton in a post on Facebook. Can't get our big equipment on it because it gets stuck in the slush. My amazing ice crew are battling Mother Nature.